Afternoon. So, my name is Bill Stratton. I am a certified EOS implementer out of Central Pennsylvania, and I am introducing my newly graduated EOS client, Evergreen Wealth Solutions, and their Evergreen Exits division. They've been on the EOS implementation journey for the last 2 years. They love it. They've got it throughout their whole organization. They are raving fans. I want to introduce the team members who are here. Andy Harris is in the back. He's the founder and visionary. Here in the front, Georgia Potts. She is the integrator. Over here is Ed Barone, who is a certified exit planner and heads the Evergreen Exits division. And over here is Kate Fisco. She runs their marketing for Evergreen Wealth Solutions. They're going to talk about a topic that's very relevant to every business owner, because at some point you are going to exit your business, whether voluntary or not, so it's best to be prepared. I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with Ed in workshops for exit planning over the last 2 years, because EOS is a big part of it, setting up a business. If you want to exit or sell it, there's things to think about. EOS helps you get there. And I have so much confidence in Evergreen Wealth and what they do that I've moved my retirement accounts over to them. So I definitely have a lot of confidence in what they do. So without further ado, here's Ed Barone from Evergreen Exits.
You can just take that. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Bill's a great implementer. We love Bill. We just had our anniversary, but we're keeping him on board for semi-annuals, so he can't leave us. So it's been great working with Bill. Real quick, Bill had mentioned how EOS is a big part of exiting. How many implementers are in the room? Show of hands. I'm going to say they are your first exit planner that you probably met. And how many business owners, when they signed up for EOS, were thinking about an exit strategy? Nice. I'm impressed. Because a lot of people, I don't think, you'll see in the presentation that it dawned on me as an exit planner when we started implementing EOS, how it goes hand in hand with what we do. So it's really fun to work with Bill with some clients and do some presentations together. Executing your ideal exit. Here's the parts of our presentation today. We'll do a little intro, our 6-step exit planning process. We'll talk about the survey reports we have business owners do, the Business Exit Readiness Index and an Ownership Dependence Index survey. And then it leads us to creating a transferable business, which you've already taken the first step implementing EOS by creating a transferable business. So, as Bill mentioned, at some point we're passing on your business, whether you want to or not. It's going to be transferred. So the question is not, the question is when do you want to do it, on what terms? And through our exit planning process, our goal is to have you exit on your terms, the ideal business exit, right? The other thing I'm going to touch on here too, when I got into wealth management 22 years ago before another stint where I ran some businesses, we talked about succession planning, right? Who has a succession plan? Congrats. I'm going to tell you, get the succession plan done for the what ifs. Another investment banker I work with, 3 of his business owners died one day as he was taking them to an exit. So it caused a little problem in that execution of the exits, right? You think the value went down a little bit maybe if the owners aren't in the business. But I've worked with widows and widowers whose spouses had deceased and they knew nothing about the business and it wasn't good outcomes of what it could have been. So get a business succession plan, and then for the uncertainty things, death, disability, divorce of a partner, divorce of a spouse, whatever reason, get it in place. Because the outcome's not good when it's not done, right? And if you get one in place, fund it. So at the end of our exit planning process, we have a written plan for you to exit on your terms and to achieve your goals as the outcome of this. So our 6-step process, we're going to sit down, we're going to establish your exit goals. What are they? I know in the 10 years I've been doing this, employees, family, financial, legacy of the business and community are the top priorities of a business owner. They tend to be what they focus on, but there's additional goals that are personal. We need to get all those out and flesh those out. What are they? Then we sit down, we analyze your financial mental readiness. Where are you at on that? Then we discover the type of owner you are. We learn and we go through your exit options. There's 5 types of exit options we'll go through. Know the value of your exit, and then we execute the plan. Oops. So, how many, when you started a business, had an exit strategy in place? All right, I'm impressed. Because not many do. You started the business because you love what you do. It was either you were really good at something, you loved what you did, you said, I can do this, I can start a business. We tend to see that there's a couple different business owner types. 75% of business owners tend to be a craftsman. They're doing what they love to do. They ended up being in business because of it. They love it. They have a hard time selling the business because it's what they love to do. The other 25%, we break them into 2 categories: freedom fighters who just can't work for anybody else. And we're going to. And then a small percent, we're true entrepreneurs. Let's make money. Let's grow businesses. I'm not going to get attached to these businesses. I'm here to make money. So has anybody had an exit plan, exit strategy written, right? How many times have everybody thought about they should do it? And it's in the back of your head, but business takes over and you keep running your business, chugging along because that's what matters, right? The business running. So who do you want to run your business after you? Is it family, managers, outside party? What does that exit transfer look like, right? So if it's family, are they ready? Do we need to bring in some coaches to get them up to speed? Are they managers? Can they finance it? How are we going to structure that deal? Are they an outside party? And is your company transferable? So we work through those questions and goals as well. And then do you have a plan for lifetime income? A lot of business owners I know, their business provided them with a great lifestyle and a great cash flow. But I don't know if they ever sat down and said, when I exit the business, what do I need to net to keep me in this lifestyle? Right? To achieve the goals for my heirs, is there charitable goals, community goals that you want to achieve with your legacy? Have you come up with those numbers and have you really dug down deep? And do you know what you're spending? So I laugh because I have a business owner who has 3 homes, great business. And I said, what do you need to exit on? I said, we need to sit down and do a deep dive, cash analysis, expenses. I don't spend much. I said, you're running 3 homes. 3 different states. You got this going on, this going on. He goes, well, maybe we should. So we need to sit down and do that dive. The other piece of it is, what are you going to net? Right? I get calls, hey, I've been offered $8 million. All right, come on in. I got liabilities, some taxes. Oh, you're going to net 4. Is that enough? Right? So understanding that, working with exit planning advisors, working with M&A advisors, such as McKenna and Carlton, who's going to speak after me. We know the business. We know how to structure deals because it's not what you gross, it's what you net. And when you're working with the good advisors, they're going to help you structure deals that you're going to net the most, right? So then we move on to financial readiness and mental readiness. What is the annual after-tax income you want during retirement, as well as those other financial goals I mentioned? As I mentioned, most owners don't know because they've never really sat down, right, and run through those scenarios of what they are. So we sit down, we do the cash flow analysis, and we start to identify, is there a value gap, right? So, and then what is the after-tax amount needed? So, seller's discretionary cash flow through the business, right? That's always an add back to EBITDA from a sales standpoint. But what's that paying for? Is it paying for your car pre-tax? Your club pre-tax? maybe the vacation where you discuss business, pre-tax, those things aren't going away. So we need to bring them onto the personal expense sheet because now it's after-tax money. So we need to do a deeper dive there. So we sit down, we start looking, here's your net worth statement, here's your current assets, here's the ones producing income producing assets. What do you need to accomplish all your goals? What's the asset base required from the sale of your business? And is there a value gap between what you need and what you're going to net from the business and your current assets? And how do we get there? And we'll talk about that more. Most business owners, they sit down. The left side is their net worth pie chart. They put everything into the business, most of them. There's a few who have diversified. But when I meet with business owners and they're making 15, 20%, they're like, I know what I'm making. I can control this. This is what I do. I get it, right? But you're going to shift to this someday when you sell the business. We need to have you start shifting sooner. We need to have you start building other income producing assets on this side of the page before you retire. Because if we have other income producing assets, the deal structure could be better in your favor, right? Because maybe you don't need a big payout all at once. Maybe it's a structured buyout, a little less taxes. That's where a great investment banker comes in to help on the deal structure. So mental readiness, toughest one. Toughest conversation. It's what you love to do. Remember I talked about the craftsman? He loves what he does. There's the other piece of it, is you have a chemical release every morning when you wake up to go to work, to run your business. It's what you love to do. The other piece of it, I'm in Pennsylvania, a little bit more rural area near Penn State. What's that? We are, that's right. And my colleague's son just went through transfer portal to Penn State from Minnesota. So fun. We're going to have fun with that this year. But these smaller communities, when you got 60,000, 80,000 town population, it's who you are in the community. It's your identity. You know, I always reference one business owner, he owns 20 dealerships, whatever it is. He's 72. He's never selling. He's on TV ads. People see him out, he's famous. He sells that. He's afraid he's going to lose that recognition. Right? So there's other pieces to mental readiness. Is it you have family members in the business, but you know they're not ready? Or you're not willing to give up control, but congratulations, EOS has taught you how to give up control and set you on a path to start delegating. So there could be various reasons to get through the mental readiness. How involved are you in the day-to-day business? Do you have a plan for how you will spend your leisure time? Do you see your business as a return on invested capital or as a provider of a lifestyle? When I sit down and do a business plan or a business exit strategy with a business owner, and we get that first valuation, the way he manages his business changes from that day. Because now he's got to grow it. And he's measuring growth of the business, not growth of his income. It's a different mindset. And are you addicted to the business as we discussed? So, and then we sit down, we start to identify the type of business owner you are. Get me out now for the most money, I'm just done. Mentally, I'm done. COVID put me over. I don't want to ever deal with this again. Are you financially set but like what you do and you want to stay at work? Company isn't worth what you need it to be. You're going to stay, grow, and save. Or I'm financially and mentally ready. And that's our goal through exit planning. Let's get you to that last business owner. Right? So we chart it. Financial readiness, mental readiness. You can see the slide. Well off, choose to stay and work. High financial readiness, low mental readiness. Rich and ready to go, that's where we want to get you. You're going to see mine in 2 slides. Get me out the highest price down here, the guy who's just done, and then stay and grow, because he's not financially ready or mentally ready. So the 5 exit options. Because now we're going to start to align everything we've done this so far with your goals, financial readiness, mental readiness. Now we start to align it with the appropriate exit that's going to help you achieve your ideal exit. So internal succession, family, management buyout, minority recap. You're ready to take it to the next level, but you just need a cash injection, so maybe you're taking an investor or a private equity firm. Most private equity firms are in the majority recap, and that's where they come in and do 80%, and you stay in for 20% and roll equity. Done with the right firm, work with the right investment banker, someone who has a history of working with private equity firms like McKenna, and Chris is going to talk later. They know who the private equity firms are. They know their behavior. Align with the right one that you're going to, because they're going to be really nice to you all the way through. And the next day you no longer own the business. And they're going to tell you have to take orders, but it depends on your level of involvement after it's sold. Some stay on the CEO, some become consultants, so you got to negotiate all that and understand that. Complete sale. Competitor buys you out, you're out. Boom, 100%. It's rare they don't keep you in for something, though. It's rare someone gets 100% of their money up front. There's an earn-out, whether you're negotiating, accounts receivable, whatever they are. There's going to be a tie-in for you financially, at least for probably a year, maybe a little longer. And then an ESOP, which is an employee stock option. Not a bad way to go as well. So we're back to this slide. Now we've overlaid the types of buyouts on where you are. So even if you're financially ready, but you still want to work, there's a potential buyer. Is it the management buyout? Is it an ESOP? Is it family where you're going to start to transition money? It has gift on here. I don't like gift for family. I think the next generation needs to go to the bank and go through the process, the education of getting a loan, whether it's only 20% of the value, 30% of the value. When they're willing to do that, they want the business. But when you're giving it to them, it's pretty easy. Looks pretty good, right? But I think they miss that education of having to report to the bank like you did when you started your business. And then, we want to get you up here to the top right quadrant, gift, charity, sell. When you're over there, you dictate the terms of who you're selling to and what you want. It's a really nice place to be, isn't it, Chris? When you have people in that top right quadrant. So we get through all that, and we do this business exit readiness index. I actually have people do this at the beginning of our engagement. And what it is, it's a quick survey we have you do. We actually have them in our brochures in the back, the little QR code, take you right to it. You take it, takes 5-10 minutes, you'll get a report where you're going to fall from a mental readiness and a financial readiness. And then if you want, we'll set up a schedule and we'll dive deeper into those questions because they're not detailed information in how you're answering. It's just yes, no, maybe. But we need to dive deeper if we're going to engage in a plan and understand where you're at. How it works, you can go to our website, egexits.com. You can pick up a brochure, or we can send you the link via email. Just let us know how you'd like to take it. You'll get a 6-page result. I get a 12-page result. Here's the financial readiness, the 10 questions. Mental readiness, the 10 questions. And then this is statistically. Now we're seeing this change slightly, these numbers. But statistically, when I'm part of the International Exit Planning Association, so I'm very involved with them. This is where I get data. This is where I get information. 85% of the people are not financially ready or mentally ready. We're seeing that shift. Anybody know why? Baby boomers are getting older. Reality's sinking in that you got to transfer and exit. Right? As long as we've ignored it and put it in the back of our mind, we'll get to it. Time is coming, and you're starting to realize it. Right? What's even more interesting, why 85% is not mentally ready, over here, this bottom left, 67% roughly, is not financially or mentally ready. Right? So we got some work to do to get you to the top right quadrant. Then we have you take another survey called the Owner Dependence Index. Again, EOS has already started making you delegate and having teams, having management team run the business for you so you're not making every single daily decision like you probably were when you started the company, however long ago, right? So we want to get that down to 25% is the goal, right? Right now, the survey, 54% of businesses were dependent on their business owner. Why do we want to get that down? The value of your business goes up, the less you need to be there. So, when I ask a business owner who's not involved in EOS, would you buy your business without you? I have yet to have one say yes. Because they know how dependent the business is on them. Some of it's control issues, we can get into that later, right? But you guys have taken the first step, and this is where I'm saying how EOS and exit planning and transitioning your business, there's other facets you have to get your business ready. And that's where the other advisors come into play with McKenna, a great CPA who's been through selling a business, who understands the tax consequences, because with your investment banker and your CPA, there's lots of nuances in selling a business on how different items are taxed, whether it's goodwill, whether it's your consulting agreement, whether the tax outcomes for you, and what are the tax benefits for the buyer, right? So there's lots of things to work through. So we go through and we grade you in these categories here: owner involvement, operations, strategy planning, and then we start to identify where do you need to find the right person in the right seat who gets it, wants, and has the capacity to do it. So all this leads to creating a transferable business. So our exit planning process then gets us to the point where we need to create a transferable business, and we need to grow and enhance the value of your business. So we put you through the owner dependence score, where you're at. We start to have questions about your management team. Are they successors, future owners, or key assets for the new owner? And if they're key assets for the new owners, that's another conversation. But industry activity assessment, this is where a investment banker comes in. They have all the data on your industry, what companies have sold, what are they selling for, and then a company performance assessment on your own company. The first key to creating a transferable business is measuring your involvement in the business. How involved are you? I know I keep harping on it, but I'm telling you it's critical, because the value's going up the less involved you are. And many owners today do not have a transferable business because they're too involved. Measuring and managing an owner's direct involvement, again, is a critical step and extension of the exit planning process that we just talked about, and knowing your score and who supports you in running the company. So are you thinking about the internal transfers, the manager's family? Where are they on this ladder? Do they need help getting from management to leadership to ownership? 3 different skill sets. A lot of entrepreneurs have it, but DNA may not transfer like that. Right? So where are they at, and how can we help them get there if that's your goal? Or is it going to go to an external sale, and who are those key people? And what conversations do you have to have before all the M&A advisors start showing up for long meetings in your office? And those key people are going to start to hear, and they're going to start to see. But do we need to have conversations with certain ones and handle certain ones differently and incentivize them to stay? And maybe there's earnouts built in for them to stay by the buyer because they're that critical to the success of the business after you depart it. And we have a communication playbook we work through. And then the third part of this is industry activity assessment, right? How are businesses like yours selling in your industry? What are the multiples, right? Everybody wants to know that. What did the business, my buddy has this business, my competition, I'm friends with him, he just sold for 6 multiple. I'm going to sell for 6 multiple. Not necessarily the case, just because he sold for 6 multiple. There's factors that develop of why businesses are sold at certain prices or at certain multiples. So Your own performance assessment. What are the value drivers that are going to drive business, drive the value of your business in your company? And what are those buyers looking at underneath the hood of those companies they bought? And what do they want from that company? Your investment banker will help you understand that. So do you need to increase or reduce headcount? Reduce product lines, increase them. Increase geography. And COVID taught us diversified supply chain may matter a little bit going forward, right? So lots of things to think about there. So 2 things, right? It really comes down to what are my earnings or EBITDA? Because most companies today sell to multiples. There's some that don't, but majority of business transactions are based on a multiple of net income. So how are we going to increase it? We either make more money or we increase the multiple. Creating a transferable business is going to help you increase the multiple because you're going to have more types of buyers at the table. Right? You're going to have an investor because an investor may buy. There's several guys in our town who go out and buy businesses and never run them. The first thing to do is find out who the key person is, give them 10%, keep them. It's an investment for them. Right? So having different players be able to come to the table because your business is transferable, you're going to have more bidding, right? It could be a strategic buyer. May offer you a lot more than a PE firm. So it's good to understand how are we going to look at that and what the multiples are and how can we improve multiples and bottom line. So concluding thoughts. Whatever the number is, most 95% of the business owners I work with when they sit down, we need to increase the value of their assets, whether it's their business savings or other assets, for them to live this lifestyle and get to the goals they need. Following the 6-step exit planning process helps us help you create a transferable business. We have presented a lot in a short order, and you got another great presentation coming, but begin with the end in mind. Exit planning is a process, not an event. It's not like selling real estate, right? And a holistic review. So when we work with people at Evergreen, we sit down, we have planners, a bunch of us have different designations that come to the table for clients. But we're looking at your estate. And we're saying, all right, when was the last time you updated your estate plan? I'm not picking on business owners today, honest. But a lot of them don't update their estate frequently enough. Right? So that's one of the things we got to talk about. And within that estate plan, it's either tax reasons or non-tax reasons. Are we sheltering for taxes, right? Or are we non-tax reasons that this kid's great with money, this kid needs help with money? Or we need to protect it from creditors of our kids. What are those reasons in this planning? But looking at your entire estate, what are your assets? How do they fall? How are they owned? What do you want to occur with them? Are you charitably inclined? And we work through all that.